Your motorcycle practice is stuck in beginner mode if you're only using empty parking lots. Quick safety note: always scout, get permission, and wear full protective gear before trying any of these spots. The truth is, riding in varied environments builds adaptive skill in a way flat pavement never can. By the end of this video, you'll have 7 repeatable drills you can run in everyday places to sharpen tight turns, low grip control, and clutch throttle finesse. Think of this as your rider's journey, from parking lot basics to real-world mastery. Drop your weird practice spot in the comments. I'll read the best ones. Now let's start with one environment that looks chaotic at first but might give you more control than any empty lot. 1. The grocery store gauntlet. First up is what I call the grocery store gauntlet. After hours, those loading zones behind supermarkets turn into one of the most effective skill-building arenas you'll find. Instead of wide-open pavement, you're dealing with concrete dividers, painted lines, odd pavement seams, and even the occasional stray shopping cart. That combination creates a space that forces controlled, deliberate maneuvers, much closer to what you'll face in real traffic than any empty parking lot ever could. The real benefit here is how the setting constantly pushes you to manage tight U-turns, brake with precision, and scan multiple changing variables all at once. Training around real obstacles consistently forces faster decision-making than sterile drills. One moment you're weaving around shopping carts, the next you're balancing through the transition from smooth concrete onto angled asphalt ramps. Every one of those interactions builds habits that prepare you for unexpected changes out on the road. To get the most out of this space, work on a few focused drills. Start with a tight U-turn progression. Ride inside a divider, beginning with a wide turn, and then gradually shrinking your radius until you can spin the bike inside the marked boundary without dabbing a foot. Next, set up a slow slalom at walking speed using either parked carts, painted lines, or even cracks in the pavement. This helps fine-tune your steering input and balance at low speed. Finally, practice smooth quick stops by picking 2 yellow loading markers and braking to a full controlled halt between them, making sure the bike stays composed without skidding. These 3 steps alone give you a balance of cornering, maneuvering, and braking practice that's hard to replicate anywhere else. One important reminder before you test this yourself: only use these zones after business hours and get permission where possible. Don't block staff access, and always scan for stray carts or trucks still moving through. That little bit of caution makes the spot a powerful practice ground without unnecessary risk. By the time you've worked these drills, tight U-turns and sudden stop scenarios will feel far less intimidating. And the next environment takes the challenge in a different direction, one that will change how you ride the moment traction starts to disappear. Don't blink. 2. Car wash confidence builder. What if you could practice slippery, low-grip situations without waiting on a rainstorm? That's where the car wash confidence builder comes in. Empty car wash bays after business hours give you a reliable slick surface. Soap residue, lingering water, and polished concrete that mimics slippery roads but in a controlled space. It's a way to safely explore traction limits that might otherwise take hazardous weather to experience. Advanced trainers sometimes use controlled low-grip surfaces. Car wash bays offer a similar feeling if used carefully. Practicing low-grip feel in repeatable conditions helps you recognize how traction changes and how subtle inputs prevent slides. In this environment, you can work at walking pace while focusing entirely on feedback from your bike without outside distractions. There are 3 simple drills to build confidence here. First, slow speed braking. Gently increase front brake pressure until you feel the front soften slightly, then release smoothly and repeat. This helps you notice early traction loss before a true skid. Second, clutch throttle modulation. Ride slowly across the bay using only the friction zone to control speed. No rear brake, to fine-tune balance and throttle sensitivity. Third, a body position test. Shift your weight slightly left or right while coasting slowly, noticing how small changes affect stability without making abrupt corrections. These exercises uncover just how much input the bike allows before traction breaks away. The goal isn't to spin the tire or slide intentionally, but to understand how your motorcycle talks to you under reduced grip. You'll start to detect warning signs through the lightness in the handlebars, the seat's vibration, or even the engine note that tell you traction is thinning. That awareness trains you to respond with smooth corrections instead of panic reactions on the street, whether you hit wet leaves, oil patches, or morning dew. One important note about safety: do not ride with soap still pooling or anywhere near active equipment. Get explicit permission from the property owner. Avoid open hours and clear away any visible hazards first. And of course, always wear full protective gear. With these precautions, car wash bays become a unique but effective tool for preparing yourself for traction, surprises on real roads. And once you've built trust in your control on slick surfaces, the next challenge shifts from grip to space, where the walls close in and every movement of the throttle matters. 3. Alleyway Acceleration Academy. Why do some riders stay calm in tight spaces while others freeze up? The Alleyway Acceleration Academy is all about tackling that challenge. Residential back alleys force you into environments where the room for error is almost non-existent. Walls, dumpsters, and random debris leave inches to spare. Every throttle input and steering adjustment becomes amplified, giving instant feedback on how smooth or sloppy your control really is. In this compressed setting, your focus locks onto both the immediate line ahead and the limited sight lines farther down. Confined space plus unpredictable surfaces creates a scenario where over-rotating the throttle or chopping the clutch shows its flaws right away. Practicing here accelerates low-speed control and clutch mastery compared with only doing wide-open drills. The physical constraints demand precision, while the visual pressure heightens the challenge, training you to stay calm when the environment feels crowded. To make the most of it, focus on 3 practice progressions. First, the friction zone ride. Hold your clutch just in the friction zone at walking pace, keeping your feet on the pegs as you weave past dumpsters or poles. Second, pivot and spot. Set up slow-angle turns, keeping your eyes locked on the exit while blending in one smooth clutch and throttle input instead of making multiple jerky corrections. Third, reverse thinking. Pick a line in advance and commit to it fully, which teaches you to trust your bike's stability and reduces hesitation mid-turn. These exercises use the alley's natural shapes as both practice cones and consequences. What's powerful about this environment is how quickly you learn that smoothness equals control. Jerky or panicked input punishes you immediately, but deliberate, steady movements keep the ride composed. Alley practice develops habits that transfer directly to filtering through tight traffic, fitting into cramped parking slots, and handling technical urban layouts where space is scarce. A clear safety note here: respect residents, avoid making noise at late hours, watch for pedestrians, and get permission where applicable. These areas work best when you treat them as shared space, not private training grounds. Mastering confined alleys teaches you to manage pressure in silence. But very soon the challenge shifts, where narrowing pavement combines with turbulence that changes everything about your balance and control. 4. Bridge Approach Bootcamp. Bridge approaches give you one of the most overlooked but valuable training environments. These transition zones squeeze you from open roadways into tighter lanes while throwing in surface shifts and wind exposure at the same time. That compression of variables forces sharper focus on your line, throttle, and balance than any wide-open road ever will. What makes bridges unique is how quickly the challenges stack. Expansion joints send the bike tapping from one surface to another, guardrails close in to limit your margin, and crosswinds from traffic buffet you without warning. Bridge approaches let you practice stability under changing surfaces and wind in short, repeatable bursts. All of it happens within just a few hundred feet, making bridges a natural concentration drill for both body control and mental processing. The best way to build confidence here is through structured practice. Start with an expansion joint drill, approach at steady throttle, keep a relaxed grip, and let the bike track naturally as it crosses from asphalt to metal or rubber. This helps you feel the bike's natural stability rather than fighting it. Next, try a lane compression drill. Fix a line in the narrowed section and hold it consistently, avoiding overcorrection, which trains your precision and trust in your inputs. Finally, rehearse for crosswinds by practicing micro-steering adjustments whenever a larger vehicle passes. Use subtle counter-steering instead of leaning against the gust to stay straight. Each of these drills builds on the last, progressively sharpening your ability to remain controlled when everything feels unstable. Safety is especially important here. Never block or slow active traffic, avoid peak commuting hours, and if possible, only use pedestrian-accessible bridges or practice with explicit permission. And never stop in the middle of a live bridge. The space is unforgiving, so respect the risks while taking advantage of its unique challenges. The payoff is simple. If you can stay calm and precise on a bridge approach, tight mountain passes and construction squeeze-ins feel a lot less threatening. Conquering this environment proves to you that control doesn't disappear when conditions tighten. It's sharpened. And once you've drilled stability under pressure, the next challenge pushes you toward environments that overload your vision and demand instant reactions unlike any controlled setup. 5. Industrial Zone Initiative. Now let's talk about the Industrial Zone Initiative. Empty industrial complexes after hours provide the kind of practice space that challenges both your technical control and your mental focus at once. Unlike a parking lot, these areas constantly change under your wheels. Gravel shifting into worn asphalt, patches of concrete giving way to slick oil stains or metal grates. These transitions make you adjust throttle, clutch, and balance in real time. They don't let you ride on autopilot. The layout itself is just as demanding. Shipping containers, structural columns, and parked equipment block your view, creating blind corners and narrow gaps. Complex industrial layouts force you to make quick decisions among many competing visual cues. Exactly the kind of mental training parking lots don't provide. Having to scan ahead, spot actual hazards, and ignore irrelevant clutter builds sharper awareness and faster reactions than flat, open space drills ever could. To structure your training in these zones, use a progression of focused drills. Start with transition runs. Ride a short straight where surface types change, accelerate gently, and pay attention to how your inputs need adjusting as traction shifts. Next, move to an obstacle weave. Pace yourself at steady throttle and thread between containers or parked machinery, practicing clean directional changes without chopping the throttle or clutch. Finally, use loading dock hill starts. Come to a controlled stop on an incline ramp, then restart smoothly in the friction zone while balancing your rear brake, repeating until starts and descents feel natural. Each drill adds a layer of precision and control, and together they replicate the complexity of real-world chaos. Always prioritize safety in industrial zones. They are often private property and can present hidden dangers. Only use them after hours with permission, avoid any active loading areas, wear reflective gear if visibility is low, and start slow so you can scout hazards before committing. With these precautions, the environment becomes a valuable training ground instead of a liability. The true benefit here is clear. Industrial practice forces you to link braking, traction management, scanning, and line choice into a single fluid response. It's one of the best ways to sharpen adaptability where conditions change constantly, and adaptability is the foundation of real mastery. From here, the conclusion is simple. Every one of these environments pushes you beyond the parking lot and into the kind of riding that prepares you for the street. You start trapped in the routine of open pavement and finish able to adapt to tight, slick, and unpredictable slices of real street life. That transformation is the real win. Try one of these spots this week. Pick a 15 to 20-minute drill, give it your full focus, and then report back in the comments on what changed. What's the strangest place you practiced? Drop the location and one riding tip in the comments. I'll feature the best in a pinned reply. Always scout locations first, get permission, follow local laws, and wear full protective gear. It keeps the practice safe and respectful while sharpening your control. If this helped, like the video and subscribe for more real-world skill hacks.